Carlos Alcaraz's secret plan to hit the ball harder. Carlos Alcaraz to change racket for the 2025 season. Carlos Alcaraz began his preseason on Monday at the Club de Campo de Murcia, just steps away from his home. He started with several physical training sessions to prepare his body under the supervision of his fitness coaches, Alberto Yeto and Alex Sanchez, and his physiotherapist, Juanjo Moreno. They welcomed him back and assessed his condition before he picked up a racket. It wasn't until Thursday that Alcaraz left the gym and stepped onto the court for his first practice sessions ahead of the 2025 season. Accompanied by Juan Carlos Ferrero, Alcaraz began hitting the ball gently, focusing on the sensitivity of his hand and arm. According to Tennis Zone, Babolat has sent him several different rackets to test during the preseason. Carlos Alcaraz's team wants more power. Alcaraz still uses the same Pure Aero 98 racket, but his team wants the four-time Grand Slam champion to add more power to his shots. To achieve this, they asked Babolat to slightly adjust the weight distribution in the racket's head. The French brand, which has partnered with Alcaraz since 2013, sent several rackets with additional grams distributed in different ways, one with the weight concentrated at the tip, another with a balanced distribution, among other variations. The goal is for Alcaraz to test them during the first days of practice without knowing the weight distribution to avoid bias and choose the one he feels most comfortable with. During Thursday's training, the current world number 3 was seen switching rackets multiple times under the watchful eye of his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero. Ferrero carefully monitored his pupil's reactions and had several discussions with him. Alcaraz also tested different string types, although Babolat's main change is a switch from black strings to yellow ones, primarily for marketing purposes. Nadal added lead to his racket in 2017. Adjustments to string tension and racket weight are common in professional tennis. When players seek improvement in a specific area, they often resort to changes in materials, weight, or string tension. A notable example is Rafael Nadal, who in December 2016 added several grams of weight to his racket. He placed lead tape at the head of the racket to generate more spin. He explained this during the 2017 Australian Open, where he lost the final to Roger Federer. These are small adjustments and details that one incorporates to improve. I've added some weight at the tip of the racket to create more spin in my shots, especially on serve and forehand, Nadal said. With a little more weight, the racket moves faster, and the ball gains more speed. But it also needs control. Fortunately, I've had a month and a half to train with it. Carlos Alcaraz to seek revenge in the Caribbean. Carlos Alcaraz will play an exhibition match in Puerto Rico on March 2nd, where he will prepare for the Indian Wells tournament. This match also gives him a chance to face Frances Tiafoe, who recently defeated him in his final match of 2024 at an exhibition in Charlotte. Although the 2025 tennis season has not yet begun, Carlos Alcaraz is already planning his exhibition schedule. Despite ongoing complaints about the increasingly packed ATP calendar, Alcaraz often prefers to skip long events in favor of more relaxed and financially rewarding exhibitions. On March 2nd, he will participate in an exhibition match in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which will also serve as an unofficial rematch. On December 7th, he faced Frances Tiafoe in Charlotte, where the American prevailed. The upcoming match in Puerto Rico, part of an event honoring Tokyo 2020 Olympic champion Monica Puig, gives Alcaraz the chance to turn the tables. This event takes place just days before the Indian Wells Masters 1000, where Alcaraz is the defending champion. An intense start to the year. Alcaraz will kick off the year at the Australian Open, aiming for the first Grand Slam of the season. He will then compete in Rotterdam instead of the South American claycourt swing, where he has had success in previous years. However, his 2024 campaign on clay wasn't as successful, leaving him physically drained and necessitating a brief break before recovering. This change allows Alcaraz to avoid transitioning surfaces between Australia and Indian Wells. The stretch between Indian Wells and Miami will be crucial in his quest to reclaim the top ranking. With a title defense in Coachella and semi-final points to defend in Florida, arriving in peak condition is essential. The Puerto Rico exhibition might pose a risk but also offers valuable preparation against a top-tier opponent like Tiafoe. Nick Kyrgios on the difference between Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and legends like Federer and Djokovic. They don't have the same aura. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are seen as the successors to Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. They are already making their mark, but according to Nick Kyrgios, they lack one key quality that separates them from the tennis legends. Federer held the Grand Slam title record from 2009 to 2022, until Nadal surpassed him, finishing with 20 major titles. Djokovic now holds the all-time Grand Slam record with 24 titles, achieving this feat at the 2023 US Open. Meanwhile, Alcaraz, 21, and Sinner, 23, are just starting their careers. The young Spaniard already has 4 majors, while Sinner has 2, both won in Melbourne and New York this year. Kyrgios calls Alcaraz and Sinner just kids. Australian Nick Kyrgios shared his perspective on comparisons with the Big Three. Alcaraz and Sinner are going to be generational talents and probably among the best tennis players. But for me, they still don't have that aura like when I played Federer and Djokovic. They don't have that yet. I couldn't use mind games against Federer, it didn't work on him. But I feel like it could work on these guys. It's very possible, added the 2022 Wimbledon finalist. In the same podcast, Kyrgios discussed Jannik Sinner's controversial doping case, where he tested positive for clostebol. Kyrgios has been outspoken in criticizing Sinner's return without suspension. The former world number 13 is eager to face Sinner at the upcoming Australian Open. If I get Sinner in the 3rd round of the Australian Open, everyone will watch because we have opposing personalities. We don't get along, and I think that's healthy for the sport, Kyrgios concluded. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Here at Tennis Zone, we're dedicated to bringing you the best content for the best audience. We offer in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and comprehensive coverage of everything happening in the world of tennis. Join our community and experience the excitement of the tournaments with us. At Tennis Zone, we strive to provide high-quality, up-to-date content on players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in the tennis world.